Hi, we're at Chapter 11, Lesson 5 on my page 723. Our essential question, why do we convert measurements? The weight of an object is how heavy it is. So we've done length, which is measuring across. We've done capacity, which is how much something will hold. And now we're talking about the weight of an object. So how much gravity is, how heavy it is, how much gravity is pulling on it. The customary units of weight are ounce, pound, and ton. So they've got some visualizations here for us. An ounce is about a strawberry, which seemed pretty reasonable. A pound being a pineapple seemed a little bit vague to me. So I went ahead and Googled what weighs a pound. And here are some common objects. A bag of disposable diapers, which if you have little brothers or sisters might be relatable. A shoe, a women's sweater, which is also kind of vague. A coat, children's bathrobe, a pair of men's leather gloves. A block of butter, so if you have 4 cubes of butter, that is about a pound. A loaf of bread, a can of soup, 3 medium-sized bananas, a bag of coffee beans, a paperback book, a jar of peanut butter, a box of cereal, a can of beans, a shower towel, a wireless keyboard, or a small tablet. Some of those may be more familiar to you and help you visualize it or imagine it a little bit better than thinking about a pineapple. A car is a measurement or a good estimate for how much a ton is. If you're talking about a huge truck, that's probably more than a ton, but a regular sedan type car is a good thing to think about when you're trying to decide how much is a ton. Okay, Susie's father bought some sugar for their favorite recipe. What is a more reasonable unit to use for the weight of a bag of sugar, ounces or pounds? So if you think about what you buy in the grocery store, those bags of sugar, they probably weigh more than a strawberry. They might weigh closer to a bag of diapers, a loaf of bread, a can, a block of butter. That might be more reasonable to measure the weight of a bag of sugar. Now it's going to weigh more than 1 pack of butter or 1 sweater, but at least it's going to be a whole lot of strawberries. So as much as I might like to think about a whole lot of strawberries, I wouldn't want to be weighing a bag using strawberries. It's probably a lot better to think of it in the weight of pounds. So pounds is a reasonable unit to use for the weight of a bag of sugar. Okay, going on to 724. What is the most reasonable estimate for the weight of a leaf? Now, if I'm imagining a leaf, that is a much different weight than a bag of sugar. And I'm probably not going to use a ton or 10 tons. Even a pound would be awfully heavy to weigh just a single leaf. So I'm probably going to use an ounce to measure the weight of a leaf. Similarly, a paper airplane does not weigh a whole lot. So I'm probably not going to use tons or pounds. Now I'm going to choose between 4 ounces or 40 ounces. And if I go back and think about, it says a strawberry, 4 strawberries or 40 strawberries. 40 strawberries is still kind of a lot. So probably the most reasonable estimate for a paper airplane is going to be 4 ounces. And now a toy is it talking about a real helicopter? That's a tricky question. Are they talking about a toy or are they talking about real? Let's see. Well, if it's 5 tons, that's a real helicopter. So there you go. They're talking about a real helicopter, and that's likely going to weigh 5 tons. That's a lot of weight to get in the air. Okay, so now we've got a bunny rabbit. A large rabbit is going to weigh about 4 pounds, about 4 shoes. So that's an idea to help you think about as you're getting the best estimate for each object. When you're doing your independent work, it's similar. Think about, is an acorn going to weigh about, would the best be a strawberry, a shoe, or a car? What's the best way to measure an acorn? What about a bed? What about a shell? This looks like not a small shell, but not super huge either. And think about the weight. Now, what about the weight of a RV, a goldfish, and a desk? Desk is probably going to weigh more than 18 ounces. So which is the most reasonable estimate for each of these objects? Is it more reasonable to say that a pair of shoes weighs 1 ounce, 1 pound, or 1 ton? I've kind of given that one away with my other examples that I gave you. A pencil weighs 2 ounces, 2 pounds, or 2 tons? Which is the most reasonable of these three options for the weight of a pencil? Do that. Word problems. Which is more reasonable for the weight of 2 thoroughbred horses? So real animals. Real horses, probably going to weigh more than an ounce. If we're thinking about a pound as a shoe, horses are going to weigh a bit more than that. 1 car, or probably the most reasonable for the weight of 2 horses. Using your answer from exercise 12, what is a reasonable estimate for the weight of 4 thoroughbred horses? So if 2 horses is about 1 ton, how about 4 horses? How many tons would that be? The weight of 4 thoroughbred horses would be about blank tons. Is it reasonable to say the herd of 8 thoroughbred horses weighs about 2 tons? So do the math on that. You can draw a visualization here. 8 horses. Don't spend your time on the drawing. You can draw little circles. How many tons would be for 8 horses? You might refer back to this to see if how 8 compares to that. Estimate of 3 objects in your desk. You can use anything at home. Tell me what the object is, and then put them in order of greatest weight to the least weight. So you're going to want to choose things like a pen, and then something that is comparably heavier, like a shoe, so that you have an easy way to compare them. I'm not going to use a pen, an eraser, and another pen, because those are awfully close. I'm not really going to get a good estimate unless I'm getting down to the ounces on weight, which is hard to do unless you have a postal scale. So I'd really encourage you to maybe do, if you have a mouse or something that is probably going to weigh a little bit more, don't choose 3 objects that are going to weigh very close to the same amount, because then you're putting them in order from greatest to least, and that's much harder. Maybe choose choose your math book compared to a pen, compared to your baby brother. Something like that's going to be easy to tell the greatest to least, so that you're more successful when you're estimating for number 15. How do you estimate weight? Well, I'm going to estimate between the ounces, pounds, and tons, and then I'm doing that based on what is going to be reasonable to measure that. Okay, so that gets you through, and your homework is going to be about the same. Thank you for all your hard work. Keep it up, and I'll see you soon.